If you want me to stop recording, I will.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
It's recording now, so if you want me to turn that off, I will.
You mean my camera?
Well, it's recording the meeting.
Oh no, no, no. You can record it. I
All
just
right,
try to get
cool.
my shirt
So what's going on, man? Jersey Joe,
Yes, sir.
how did it go, man?
So the way it turned out when I got to the courthouse, right?
Uh-huh.
They I had to wait to talk to the lady to check me in and everything. And when I
Mm-hmm.
gave her my information, she looked at it real good and took a long time to look it over before she even said anything to me.
Okay.
And then when she finally came back to me, she was like, listen, like I can't file it because you have federal codes on there, but I know exactly what you're trying to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to the prosecutor and to the public defender because when I got locked up, I ended up filling out for a public defender at the time,
Okay.
and um, and then she said that what they were gonna do is they were gonna dismiss the whole case.
What did you file?
The documents that you emailed to me, the motion for I believe it was the discovery, the motion to dismiss, and I think it was to show cause if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so the conditional acceptance. It was a conditional acceptance, motion for discovery, motion to dismiss, or it was a demand for discovery, and then the motion to dismiss. Nice. See, you see, that's funny, right? They said we can't file this because it has federal codes on it. And my
Yeah,
response to that would be, yes, it does, because if I have to go federal, I'm just putting you guys on notice. What I would probably come at anyone damaging me with,
yeah,
right? If I got to take this federal, I just need the applicable laws listed on this document, just so everyone's on notice. But the thing is, you don't want to be threatening about it, right? You don't want to do how they do and be threatening you. You know, you're just giving them notice of what these people could be liable of.
yeah.
That's so crazy, man.
It was definitely
Damn,
crazy.
I wish you'd have been able to record that.
So I had my friend try to record a little bit in the courtroom, but they tried to like shut him down. So he ended up putting the camera down and not really recording.
Wow.
But yeah,
See?
yeah, he got nervous and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no point in him getting in trouble for it or bringing any heat on him, right?
Correct, correct, correct.
Hmm. That's why I always do it surreptitiously or clandestinely. Like I do it without being like open about it, because at the same time they're doing the same thing. They're recording that court process. They got video and audio of
Correct.
it.
And to
Because
be
just
honest,
like
the judge was making the whole courtroom like a joke. To be honest, because her godson came to the courtroom. She allowed this little boy to go behind the desk, sit in the chair. She took off her robe. She put the robe on this little boy. You know what I mean? Like she gave this whole big thing in front of the courtroom, like it was like it was some type of circus and pony show. You know what I mean?
this was
Um,
during the proceedings.
During the proceedings, yeah, like we had to interrupt the whole court proceedings just for this. And everybody's
Wow.
sitting there, we're all looking around at each other, like, what's going on? So I told my friend, I said, yo, pull out your camera and try to record some of this. So he started recording, but you couldn't see her because the boy was so short, you couldn't see him over the
Mm-hmm.
desk. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
she was there, messing with him. But the second video, you could see him coming around from the side of the counter and coming over. You know what I mean? Like I was wishing the video would be better so I can post it so you can, so they can really understand what was going on. But it's not like the greatest video. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's crazy. It's all a show. It's a dog and pony show.
Yeah, man.
Damn, that's fucking awesome, bro. Because damn, I mean, it's testimony that the stuff, once you know what's going on, you can get it dismissed because they're not gonna want to deal with it.
No.
And you see on that document, it has get transcripts. Yes, get the transcripts. Yeah. Um, call the court reporter today because every judge has a court reporter. Call the court reporter But you didn't even go to trial though. They didn't even like start the proceedings
No,
on you.
no, they said I have another court case, like another court case. I'm sorry, another court date. But they said I don't even have to go to it. Just call the prosecutor. I mean, just call the public defender. Um, and then from there, he'll let me know like whatever the hell they're gonna do or whatever. Meaning like the paperwork and shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
they said I don't have to show up and that it's gonna be dismissed.
Well, I would get that in writing. I would get the dismissal in writing.
Yeah, I called the public defender, but I didn't get in touch with him, so I got to call back.
Oh yeah, he's probably gonna run from you because somebody's liable for these charges. What was the charge again?
GTA.
The GTA. Oh, this is with the U-Haul
Right.
thing?
Yeah,
Ah, okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, I remember that one. Oh, that was nothing.
yeah.
But
And the
yeah,
next one
that's
I
just
have now
fun.
is child support, man. They're really raping me. They took
Okay.
everything that I had in my bank account just a few days ago.
Wow.
And the craziest shit is, I live with my son. I've been taking care of him since day one. Never left. I left my job and everything after the moms abandoned him, so I could take care of him. And they're still taking money from me to give to her, and I don't understand. She don't even have the baby.
I think this is a really good highlight of why people should be managing their own affairs because they're literally doing it for you.
Facts. Now, my thing is right. Once I finish completing my trust, taking over mine, and then I do the next step for my kids and controlling theirs. That puts me in a situation, if I'm not mistaken, where even the mother has no rights, right? Not that she doesn't have any rights, but I have more over her because I have control over their trust.
So like I can't really speak on the trusts, right? I'm still working on getting my trust set up. What I'm working on right now is my estate, right?
Yeah,
So like, when you fill out any form, right? So say you want to get your EIN name or your EIN for your trust, right? You still got to put in your estate information, right? It starts with your
What
estate.
what what estate information do you mean?
So like when you say you go to the EIN thing on irs.gov to get your trust EIN, where you got the TTEE document back, you had to put a name in there.
Ah,
It's
the
it
all cap.
starts with your name, the all
Correct.
caps, right? So right now I'm taking care of that foundation. Because then after I'm done with that, now I'll start opening up all my trusts because I've got my name set up correctly. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's happening in your situation, right? They're administering your name. Your name is your property of your estate. So are your children. Well, they're supposed to be, right? But now the state's coming in there and they're playing the guardian to the wards, who you should be the guardian of the wards, right? It's guardian ward relationship, right? Like I wouldn't even call myself a parent because they take those rights away from you and then they give you the benefit of being a parent, like a pair who rents the children. No, I'm the guardian of my wards or my offspring, whatever you want to call it, but I'm their guardian. You could be the lawful guardian as appointed by the Most High, and you could be the legal guardian. You will hold both titles to the children.
That's what I'm trying to do to put me at a better stance, so that way I can't have anybody really fucking with me, and I can truly
Right.
take care of my kids.
So, and that was the whole thing with the first court case was to get that shit out the way so you can start getting your affairs in order. You already got your trust. You just got to control the name now, right?
Yeah,
Because if you ever go into a state law, I'm gonna send you a document. It's the office of person, right? And then you have understanding the office of the general executor, okay? And when that general executor document, it goes into how estates work, right? So when your kids are born, right, you and maybe your wife are the first two that have right to claim it, right? To become guardians over, to administer those estates. When you pass, it goes to any brothers you may have. If there's no brothers, it goes to the sisters, right? If it's it goes to the first male in order. If there's no males in order, then it starts going to the women, right? But your kids are under your estate, but the state is administering your estate. And anything that falls underneath it, i.e., your kids, they have the claim because it's known as forfeiting, right? So once you forfeit that right by law, now it's abandoned property. And they come through, they pick it up because you haven't done it. They fill out the correct paperwork and they build a constructive trust based on that as you as the trustee, hold you liable for everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like I told this other chick the other day, and even Pooh like kind of shit on me for saying it, but like here's the thing. I think you're set up to the point where you can start making moves the correct way, but to hit them to get some relief right now, there's something known as the petition for a letter of administration. And the only reason I like that is because no one else no one else in that courtroom has claim to the beneficial ownership of your name but you, because you're alive. You're first in line, right?
First
Buckle
line.
UCC1, you're still in line to your name itself, right? And no one in there can claim it but you. And if they do, it's something known as executor descent tort, right? Right. They're using your name fraudulently.
Correct.
So the petition of letter of administration is you're challenging that right, but you're going through their means to do it. So you might get a couple of hiccups. You just got to stand on it. The same way you standing on the document that you put in for the last case.
Correct.
Because once you go in there and say, yeah, I'm petitioning to be the executor or to be recognized as the executor of my estate, right? And I'll be free to handle my own affairs with my estate property, which is my guardian rights to my children. I don't like using parental rights. I call them my guardian rights. Call them parental rights, but that's what it is. The parental rights is your property. The children are not your property, but your rights to be their guardian is your property.
My little twin.
What's up, little man? That's it. See? Ain't nothing better than that.
Yeah, man. That's life for me. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
you go into the courtroom and it's like, I'm sorry, who are you to tell me what to do with my kids?
yeah, man.
So now you know how they're doing it. So now you know how to correct it. I would start off with that petition for letter of administration, and then you start going to get your executor office set up. You start going to get your executor office set up because anything once you set up in your executor office, any legal matter, you start putting on the right hat in order to take care of it, right? If you want to put your trust hat on, you can do that. You want to put the beneficiary hat on because you know what I mean. But that executor hat,
And we're allowed to wear both hats, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah, that's what the literally what the judge does when you're in the courtroom, right?
Right.
Literally what the judge does. It's like if you get her caught up in something, I'm gonna adjourn. She'll what the hell is that? God, that's the only thing about. Hold on, let me send her a link to this. That's the only thing sometimes like when you get in with some of these folks, they want to, call you all the time and shit like that. I don't know your name. Anyway, hold on a second, y'all. Jesus. I get a new keyboard.
Sweet. Well, you got other people in here.
You
Hi.
you did what?
I just came up with a couple things.
Okay.
Kyle is an just infinite knowledge. Anyways, okay. So I redid that paragraph. It says, so asking about the bonds and or security bearings. So I resaid plus an assessment of any and all original charging instruments with all original wet blue ink signatures and a certified audit trail with the 1040B and 1099 OID filed with the IRS.
Absolutely.
I had it written down somewhere and I just found it. I
And
had
ask
I
you, Kelly?
yeah, basically to ask the judge is there anyone, with a claim against me? Will the prosecutor please state the charges in the record? Let the record show that I'm asking the judge to instruct the prosecutor to show an assessment of the original charging instrument along with all certified audit trail. So I thought, why not just put that directly in here? Also, in that other document that we were going over, where it starts to talk about my given, or wait, yeah, my given Christian name is, John Henry Doe, whatever, with the initial letter capitalized as required by rules of English grammar. I also put according to the GPO style manual. It's an official guide to the form and style of federal government publishing for the writing of the names of natural persons.
Exactly.
Oh, I was, me, I don't want to leave a thing out. I'm sorry.
Well, that's
You.
that's very thorough too, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, like, only thing I say is like, it's something that you can read out, but don't try to memorize it into a script. You know what I mean? Because then you
Yeah.
can be like, look at this sovereign citizen. Like, it's totally fine for you to read it. The prosecutor, all these attorneys always get up and read things from a document, so it's not uncommon for people to just to read it from the document. You know?
You seem more knowledgeable if you don't have to read it though, like they do, I feel like, because
Of
you
course.
start reading off of documents and they think that you're just reading a script.
Right. But like, I like to be who I am, so I know I'm not somebody that's that knowledgeable that could just speak it out and I look like an idiot if I did, right?
Right.
But, I can be just on par with everyone else by reading it on the record.
Hmm. Yeah. So I made those couple amendments to that one document. Now I'm just not, I took a couple things out too when it, asked about the given dates of receiving those particular things. I'm sorry, but I don't actually have a date for it. And part of my defense is that proper due process was not given to me. So I don't want to sit here in a document and contradict that saying that you ever actually served me a document saying as such, because
Right. Yeah.
they didn't. So I'm saying the instrument that was served, on me, on my name, not necessarily to me in specific. Because like I told you, they've never once served me with a document. I've never actually been asked to go to court.
But
And outside of my
but
attorney, I had to show up on this day at this time. You know what I'm saying?
so you've been notified of hearings or what have you through your attorney, I presume.
Every single time.
Right.
So,
And that's his
and
duty. His duty is to let you know when it is, but he's the one that's getting all the summons and all of that.
yeah, so yeah, but they should still serve them to you. And this is the first court that I've ever been a part of that
Not
hasn't served me a summons.
Well, the thing is, the way I take that through conceptual, right? If you
Mhm.
gave power of attorney to this man to sign and speak for you, I mean, it really doesn't even matter if you're there, right? He's been you gave him the power or her the power to represent you. It really doesn't even matter if you're there.
Yeah, no, I know.
And you've seen court cases where they just continue. Well, I'm here on the behalf of the defendant. Like my lawyer last time told me, you're good. Don't even show up.
Yeah,
Like,
because
like, like
doing this.
Joe, what do they tell you? You're good, man. Well, this is gonna get dismissed. Don't even show up. You
Yeah,
don't
what
even need
they
to be there.
That's exactly what they said.
And it's like, look, that's great. I'll stay home because look, I'd like to stay home anyway. However, please, please, please send me that in writing. I need receipts, please.
Mhm.
If I don't get the receipt, I'm showing up to get my receipt. Because you don't know what's going to go, especially you have that lawyer. You don't know what they're going to do. They're going to try something new, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're good.
Sorry, I just jumped in here and like overthrew your entire.
Well, it's all applicable because I'm telling him that
I
the
got
next thing he would do, because I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
no, go ahead, finish, brother. And then because I have two questions, but I'll wait for you to finish.
Like I was just telling Joe that now that he now that that can got kicked out the hallway with a dismissal, right?
Mhm.
They're talking about they're gonna have another hearing, but when the hearing shows up, just like in my man B wasn't there, right? So he showed up to the hearing and they were just talking. They heard him talking in the background, and they just go, "All right, well, Mister, your case has been dismissed. You're free to go." They didn't even go into the hearing, right? That's why he's like, "Oh, you don't have to show up because that's probably what's going to happen. But please get it in writing, or else I'm going to have to show up."
Are you the one that sent? I see. I don't want to feel like I'm talking about somebody. You just mentioned that somebody sent in some paperwork and their case got dismissed. Is this the person that you were speaking of?
Yeah, that's Joe.
And I want to
Yeah.
know what you sent them. I'm curious.
The documents. I
Joe.
mean, I can go and
Yeah,
grab them. Give me one second.
that's so weird. His porch looks just like mine. Like no joke.
Probably.
Like if I was standing on my porch right now, you'd say it looks the same. The colors and everything.
Hmm.
I have
Probably
the
the
dark.
same builder.
Yeah, I have the dark ceiling, and then my house is or my front door is yellow.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay.
But what he sent in was because he doesn't have a no, he does have a lawyer. What he sent in was the conditional acceptance, right?
Hmm. I thought about
Motion
that.
motion for discovery, but I think he was past the plea process because he's got that lawyer. He's got that lawyer. So like I think you're past the plea process too through arraignments, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, I would think we could send a see abatements come before arraignment though, but you've been through arraignment.
An abatement can come at any time too.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah. No, because another um guru, if you will, that I spoke to,
Hmm.
someone who's actually done this. That's why I will give him this guru title.
Hmm.
But at this point, the plea and abatement's the only thing I can do because of my lawyer. I told you that.
Right.
Because the only way that they'll hear me because a plea and abatement is outside the bar.
Right.
So this needs to be heard regardless of if he wants to be party to it or not. So if he won't submit it into the record, then I'm going to e-file it into the record and mail it. I'm going to
And
e-file it. Yeah.
release him of his duties immediately because you're not following orders.
Yeah.
And you do it with honor, right? When you gave him an opportunity to do it what you wanted, he won't do it, so release him. Kelly, okay, you sent me something here.
Okay. So you got
Mm-hmm. State of Michigan Third Court, Kelly Bond. Yep. Oh, and then you added where did you add it?
what?
You said you added something to this, right?
Yeah. So, um, I
Oh,
just, I
here we
just,
go. Okay. My
I did.
given Christian name is Kelly. The initial letter is capitalized. Da, da, da. Official and according to the GPO style manual, an official guide to the form and style of federal government publishings for the writing of the names of the natural persons.
It literally says that on their like homepage. That's how
Right.
they describe it. That's the actual description. It doesn't just say GPO style manual. It says in an official guide too. So I just said, fuck it, I'm putting the whole damn thing in there. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it gives a brief description of the fact that it is a form and style for federal government publishing.
Right. And this is the misnomer, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a misnomer. And then here's the thing, right? When they put it on the mail and send it to you, that's fraud. That's mail fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff you can get them on, but like here's the thing: when they start seeing that, you say, "Hey guys, I just want to let you know that you may be liable to this, this, that, and the third. And if you proceed, then I don't know, you could make yourself liable to it, to this, that, and the fourth. You know,
Yeah,
so it's like if you're not threatening them, you're kind of putting them on notice. You know, doing
exactly. Sorry. I feel like I just interrupted you, but had another thing.
that.
I'm wondering if I should put this paragraph in here because this is all stuff I had like can't really see it written up to take to court. The whole notebook I
Mhm.
have. Um, if I say in here that an acceptance for value, I accept for value and return for value all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption as principal available for discharge on all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts contained in the charging instrument. Please use my exemption for offset and adjustment of the public charges against the defendant and and release the order of the court to me immediately. Um, but take maybe not quite the whole thing, but basically saying I accept for value and I return for value. Everything in there. I'm not arguing anything in it, just upon receipt that you can answer these questions. So put it in like one of my upper paragraphs. So in there, basically in my abatement, there will be an acceptance for value that yes, I accept for value and return for value. All of what you're saying, upon receipt of you answering my questions.
Yep.
I feel like because I feel like you're right. There's a process. So I'll send the misnomer thing to my lawyer with the letter of, telling him what instruction,
Hmm.
what I do. And at that point, if he does not want to do so, I'll proceed forward by putting that misnomer filing it into the record.
Number
Um,
one, you release him for not following orders. This is all military stuff, right?
yeah.
When you have the grounds to release him.
How do I do so?
So I just called my lawyer. I said, "Look, man, I'm just gonna let you go," you know,
Okay.
and he immediately withdrew himself from the case. He
Okay.
immediately did so. But like I don't that was my situation. I don't know what your public defender will do. But if you give him that letter of instruction and they don't do what you want to do, that gives you the ground to release
He
them.
will. He probably will.
Right.
So I'm just
So,
trying to figure out where in here I want to add that acceptance for value. Because I feel like that's important too. If I do an acceptance for value, like I told Kyle, I said, I feel like acceptance for value is almost the only way to go because you get what you want and I get what I want. You get your money, I get my freedom, which is essentially what we should all be going for in the end, anyways. So let me have my freedom. You can have your money and we can all, peace out. Have a
right.
good day. And, you've not infringed on anyone's life, liberty, or property.
It's not very profitable for them though, because instead of you balancing the books and settling the account, what they want to do is bond that account so that it can mature over time and they can start getting dividends off it and put it into their pension plans.
Okay.
So they
Like,
don't.
I'm about how much I'm probably worth at this point. So like fuck them, they can take what they got.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
That's why I
but
say, look, I'll accept the charges upon proof of claim. So I'm not even going to accept it until they prove their claim. And then this is all this is doing, like in the bill of particulars or in the abatement, you're halting the procedure and the process. In the bill of particular, you're halting the procedure and process, and
yeah.
then once I'm satisfied with what's going on, then we can proceed. I'll accept for value and return for valuable consideration all charging instruments. Please use my exemption as principal, settle the
Hmm.
account, and give me a receipt, return all securities back to the estate. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But like, I'm not just gonna go in there and give it to them because look, what are y'all doing? Y'all are trespassing on my estate. to trespass upon your estate, but it isn't if you haven't claimed the estate. So how can you claim that trespassing when you're not controlling the entity?
Yeah. Oh
So
no, everything.
I think this is good. This is some hardcore stuff, right? Send it straight to him along with that letter, and he's gonna be like, God, this more sovereign citizen garbage. Because
Mhm.
anything that's not bar related or attorney related, statutory, or according to their rules of procedure, is just going to be sovereign citizen stuff, right? And if that's the way you view it, please release yourself immediately because this is the route I'm going.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
if
just
you if you ever I would put in the letter instruction, I'm going to update it. Any mention of the term sovereign citizen is grounds for a immediate release and withdrawal from this case. Watch your tongue when you're talking to me, man. I thought I was the boss here, right?
mhm. Yeah, we don't get to be.
But you're not when you have that lawyer. And that's another reason why you have to get rid of the lawyer, because once you get the lawyer, you're deemed incompetent, an infant. Look, Haley can't handle her own affairs. Joe, you can't handle your own affairs. You got somebody doing it for you. So they look at you like you're a ward of the court once you give away that power of attorney to someone else. But
Okay.
hey, look, if you want to do it, that's fine. But you're going to be my counsel, sir. You're
Yeah.
not you're not going to speak or talk for me, but you can be my counsel, sure. How does this document look? Does it look according to your attorney guidelines? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I gave the judge a power of attorney, and she just gave it right back. That's not written by an attorney. That's not written according to our rules. I'm sorry. When was I subject to follow your rules? I thought we were made to govern ourselves in any way we wish. A man is free to govern himself. What is the phrase? Everyone is free to govern themselves in their own way. I don't have to follow their rules of procedure, right? Those
Mhm.
are your anyway. I'm rambling. Sorry.
Nope, I got a quick question though. Okay.
Hmm.
Proof of claim and something for remedy. What am I miss? I'm drawing a blank.
What do you? This is a what is that?
I think is it okay, hold on. I did the whole acceptance for value in here. I think I need to edit in a second, but I
Are you talking
will
about? Go ahead.
basically I'm saying I'll give them I accept for value in return for value upon proof of claim and uh is it remedy for recourse or recourse for remedy?
Uh, when I say upon proof of claim, I just start listing out all the claims that they're fraudulently bringing against me. Now,
Yeah,
I think the term is you have not bring a claim for which relief can be granted.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Upon proof of claim of which relief can be granted. That's what I say.
There you go. That's good
See, I
because
wasn't,
the whole case could get thrown out if that clause isn't stated anywhere,
yeah.
and that's another defect.
Okay, so I said, I accept for value in return for value all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges against the defendant upon proof of claim of which relief can be granted.
Let me see this. I got there's a
I
book
don't,
called Don Kalam's. It's called Don Kalam. My word is my bond.
I know, like, I still haven't gotten a copy and read it. Stop it. It's on my
Yeah,
to-do list.
I paid money for this one because I want to know all about the bonds, and it's a short read. Where is it? And then the rest of it is just goes through how to fill out this fucking document. So like I'm gonna sit down and go through this. Right, this is copyrighted material, so I'm not gonna really share this, but I'm just looking for what he says. Here he is. I accept your charges for value and consideration. Return in post settlement in this enclosure. Put case number, auto Chris number, blah blah blah. Then put your social. And then please use my exemption for full settlement and closure of the account, as this account is prepaid, exempt from levy under Rule 8 of the Fair Reporting Credit. I don't know what the FRCP is, but like the whatever that is.
The Federal Reserve something another.
What is the FRCP? No, fair. It's like
Oh no, Fair Reporting Credit. Fair Reporting
federal
Credit.
rules of federal rules of civil procedure.
Oh, 17 different. My brain is all over the place.
Yeah, mine
Federal
is too.
procedure. That's
Right.
it.
So I accept the charges for value and consideration, return and consideration. In return, please use my exemption as principal for postponement and closure of the case. This is all I'm going to take out of this book. You guys got to go get this book. It's amazing. Okay. It
Okay,
is
same
amazing.
time. Where's my notebook? There it is. Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. Why did I not know that? Nothing.
Me neither, like, right. Because we were thinking about some act, but this is procedure. This FRCP.
Yeah. Because my brain is mush from all this research.
Hmm. But this is all in the UCC, right? It goes into you can accept for value, you can accept for honor, you can accept for collections. There's all these different things you can accept for.
Could you put it
I'm
back
gonna
on the
go.
screen for 2 seconds?
What's that?
Could you put it back up on the screen, please, for 2 seconds? I'll screenshot it.
Am I sharing my screen?
Well,
No,
it
you.
went up for a second and then it went back down. Like I started reading it and then it disappeared.
Yeah, I didn't know I was sharing my screen though.
Oh, I could just put this. Accepted for value. This is a stamp that I got. If you can
Is it blurring out? What does it
well,
say?
I'll read it to you though. It's a giant stamp that I got for my documents for later use. It says accepted for value and honor, exempt from levy. For my remedy, release of the proceeds, products, accounts, and fixtures in the order to me immediately in the accordance with the public policy HJR 192, UCC 10-104, and UCC 1-104. And then your exemption ID number, UCC contract trust account number, value amount, date,
Where did you get that?
Amazon. I'll send you a link.
Amazon?
Yeah, I'll send you a
And
link.
and it's already filled out and all that stuff?
Oh yeah. And then when you go into it, you get to pick blue or red ink. You want blue.
Right. So can you put your own verbiage on there?
I mean you could if you wanted.
Okay, cool. Because
Takes
I'll
a few.
probably get a couple of them because you gotta stamp them for different purposes, at
Well,
different
this
times.
yeah, this stamp right here is good for any and all court documents. It's good for like if I want to write off my water bill,
Right. Have you used it?
stuff like that. I haven't gotten that far. I got the stamp, but I haven't gotten that far to start doing that kind of stuff. And when I do, you're gonna be one of the first to know.
See, like that's why like I go out and get like accounts that I can test it on, right? So I'll
Mhm.
go out and get like a credit card that I don't care about or get like a Boost mobile phone, right, on the side, and then just try it on that because I don't want my actual phone to get cut off or anything because I did it incorrectly. You know what I mean?
I they always say to start small with like your water bill or
I
something
don't
of
want my
that.
water getting cut off, so I'm not doing it with my utilities until I know exactly what I'm doing, you know?
I get what you're saying. And that was the other thing. Yeah, I had a friend who actually did the letter of non-decedent, this process. He did the letter of non-decedent, he did the forms to the IRS, and as soon as he sent his information to the attorney general actually contacted his um the place he was renting his apartment from and told them that he's exempt from paying rent any further. And that lasted a couple months. And then they tried to evict him, and now he's fighting the process of them evicting him. And it's like the attorney general straight up, he didn't have to pay. How are you going to against that and fight that? And that's the thing that I wondered, because started to watch the secured party creditor process with Yusuf.
Mhm.
But eventually he says something about you got a credit card that works. So yeah, eventually you got to find somebody who's willing to take your, A for V's and roll with them, because you're gonna
Mhm.
run it who don't want to do it or don't know anything about it, and you might have to school them on it for a bit, stuff like that. So I mean,
Right,
it's definitely a process,
right.
one that
And the
I
thing,
don't for yet.
right. But like my thing is like exactly, just know it, just feel comfortable before you start doing it. But when you start doing it, that's how you start to know, right? You'll know for sure
Mhm.
once you start doing it. Like you can't score if you don't shoot, you know?
How about this? Do you have any credit cards that you stopped paying, or like a hospital bill that they sent you that you've not paid?
Well, they just sent me a parking ticket and I'm gonna use this for the parking ticket.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
I'm not using my money for that. Are you kidding?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you start small,
Hmm.
something
Right?
insignificant like that.
Are you guys using the 1099 forms for that?
I'm
Um,
not touching those until I know exactly how to do them. I'm not touching none of that stuff.
I mean,
Uh,
I sent stuff for Vince's
so
process.
I actually, I
If any-
you know, I got information about those, and I can email it to you.
Sure. Because
I can
like yeah,
put them out and everything.
Mhm.
so the banking process is next for me after I'm done setting up my estate, right? The banking process after I'm done setting my estate and my trust up and I have all my pieces on the chessboard ready to start a new game of chess, right? You got to start. Put all the pawns up, then you put the rooks and then the knights, you know what I mean?
I
Bishops.
sport is chess. I think running out in the world doing what you're talking about is more Monopoly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
saying, it's all
yeah.
part. However you want to put it.
Yeah, no, I get it. But you know what I mean, before you play any game, so say for instance it's Monopoly. Everybody, you gotta put the board down. Everybody's money, you gotta count the money. You gotta
Hmm.
make sure all of the things are in order before you start playing,
Hmm.
right? Because you can't come in the middle of it, right? Which is a lot of people are doing. We're coming in on the middle of it, and we've got to start correcting all these mistakes that we've made.
Yeah, so that's where filing the notice of non-decedent with the IRS,
Mhm.
and that's like anywhere from a month to like 3 months for them to actually get it, file it, and send back to you. And the IRS, when you send that one, that's the only one that someone's actually going to send back to you and say, "All right, we got this. We, acknowledge it." But it is one of the most important, because once that's acknowledged, then you can start going and running around pulling the 1099s and doing all the things. I mean,
I
that's to my.
I need to get on that because then you have the non-decedent, and then they say that name decree too. The name decree is what separates the flesh from the name. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Well, like I told you, my trust, this is how I picture it. And it's funny because I actually watched just some random guy's video about explaining and break down what a trust is. And he's like, think of it as a box, and you're putting all of this stuff in a box. And Kyle just looked right at me because he I was gonna say as soon as that happened was I told him, I said, I picture my trust as this box that I put my straw man in, and he lives in there now. And I have full authority over him out of this little box. You can't touch it. No one can touch it but me. But on the same note, your straw man has to go run about and play the Monopoly game out in commerce and then bring the money back to you through Treasury Direct. You deposit it into, your trust account, and then you, as the living being, access the trust and access the money.
Mhm.
And so
It's
there's
like
a of operating the straw man run what's the word?
going
What was
around that Monopoly board.
well, yeah, yeah. So he's your player. Your straw man's your player. So
Exactly.
choose the dog or the top hat or whatever, that's your straw man.
Right.
He's running board, he's playing the game, and you collect the money. Yeah. So
But the thing
I
is, it's like if you're not controlling that piece, someone else is controlling that piece for you and then collecting all of that money because
that,
you're not controlling it. You know what I mean?
that's what I was about to say. Own nothing, control everything.
Correct.
And that's how
Because you got to put that piece back in the box, right? You don't own it.
that's how we control the straw man, that monopoly piece, is by
Hmm.
having him in it. Because now the way my trust is worded, it's putting the all caps corporation, just like you would your LLC if you owned a business. You put that inside your trust account, no one can touch it.
Right. But
Uh,
even in Vincent's class, he had the letter of acceptance to Office of General Executor, doesn't he?
I don't know. Quite honest.
I believe he does because I mean he was on my live talking about it.
Hmm.
You still got to accept yourself into that executor office, or else you're going to be in the office of person, and you're going
Yeah,
to be subject to statutory law. And because any person who does this is subject to that. Any person who willfully does this, any any person, right? So you got to get it out that office of person.
yeah. No, I agree with you. There's so much to learn about all this, and trust me, I mean, on the side, outside of my court case, and his court, but now his is over with, so now we're just focused on mine. Well, I'm just focused on mine. He's back to work, but outside of
Mhm.
that, every weekend over at his mom's house, the three of us just trying to learn the SPC process and figure out the administrative process. And what's ironic is that um for my sobriety court that I'm in right now, I had to do this, fill out like my goals to go into the next phase of the program. And when I did, I talked about becoming a secured party creditor and that I trust in doing all. And then all of a sudden I go into court, like later, and everyone's in there like, oh, you never know what can happen, and I'm thinking, okay, I know that the SBC process, like I told Kyle this afternoon, I said, I wish that I could say in here that as a secured party creditor, I do not accept this, blah, blah, blah. Or that I wish I had a copyright to my name so that I could say, and my name is copywritten and any and all derivatives are, property of me, not anyone else. I wish that I had those things intact, but all of that stuff takes time and process. And most people were scrounging for information for other things, like, Joe here and myself, because we're not prepared in that manner. Now, next time, heaven forbid there is ever a next time, but next time the courts ever try to come at me for anything, I feel hopefully by then I'll be prepared by having the administrative and the secured party creditor process finalized.
I
You
feel the
know,
same.
yeah, that's my next step. And you know, Nigel knows I've been on top of things with him. There's things that I've shared with you because I have more research in one direction than I do in another, and I think that's the
Right.
biggest, creating your tribe.
I have a
The
question for you guys.
Yeah,
Do you know how to collect on your bonds?
That's what that whole book is about, bro.
Which
That
book?
the Don Kalam joint. That's what that whole book is about. It shows you how to
Got,
fill the forms out and everything.
got you. I'm not sure about that book, but I know I just got a book about that on
Word.
how to basically like get all your bonds and then claim them. But they're saying that you gotta like basically sue them for your bonds.
I don't know. All I know is that these bonds that we're questioning them about are not on the record. They don't put them on the record until after you've been charged. Once you're sentenced, it goes on the record, then they collect on it. And it's all done in a private capacity. So that way the public never sees it. So that's important. Like I'm doing here. God, this it's so weird having this conversation with you guys is giving me more confidence in what I'm doing. Um, it's kind of nice because I have been dragging all day today. But just once you bring up the bonds in court, that's where they get freaked out because they know that those bonds exist. They just know that they're not on the record because they won't make them public, and they don't like the fact that you're going to talk about them in public in front of them, which is why I actually called Nigel today and said, "Hey, I want to ask about the bonds and inquire about the 1040, the 1040B and the 1099 OID in my abatement, and maybe even possibly, if I'm lucky enough, get this dismissed before I even walk in there." Because I'm questioning this stuff right there on the record, and they don't want that in record. And this paperwork will probably go missing in my record later. Guarantee.
And I just thought of something, right? So, like in the book, it shows you how to fill them out. So technically, you can fill them out yourself and then go file it on your court case. And what would happen after that? You file it on the court case and you follow it up with a notice. You file it out the correct way with you being the beneficiary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go file it on the court case. And you
If
follow
you,
it up with a notice and you have to, and like I'd like to schedule a hearing. I just filed the bonds on the case. You know, let's go ahead and close this settle this out.
I said that to Kyle a few months ago, but I could never figure out how to actually get and file a bond. So what you're speaking of, I'm not really sure
Right.
because I told getting
That's why I keep bringing up Don's book because it goes through all the concepts of it, and then it goes through literally every single form you need to fill out and how to fill them out. Right?
this
What's
one.
that? No, it's called Don Kalam. My word is my bond.
Oh, it's in that one. Oh, good God. I feel like I should have bought this book a while ago.
Yeah, and it shows you how to fill them out too. So it's a pretty good book. I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna read it like 3 times because hey, if I ever get dragged in that court, I'm sticking to business. I'm not going past business. I'm not talking about my laws and all that stuff. I like the blatantness because you're halting the process. And like I would put some business related questions in here too. Right? Because this is attacking the misnomer, and that's good too. Because now you can get if you can prove that there's a misnomer, now you can get them on things like mail fraud, right? All
Oh,
things, man. Like in the same way they come up with all these ways to come after us, we need to start going on the offensive.
yes. I bought those $1 stamps and I'm going to use this.
Mm-hmm. That's a great. There's another one too. I want to read the other one. It's called the Postal Universe, and it's on my document drive.
It's better. I blurred my back anything, but yeah, the postal. Yeah, I bought three packs of them, so there's 10 in each one, so it cost me $30.
Right?
But $30 worth of $1 stamps. So I have $31 stamps, and I figure I'll put them on every document along with this stamp, the accepted for value. And then so I'm gonna have to print these up, and then I'm gonna have to scan them my back into my computer, and then I'm gonna upload them. I'm gonna e-file them to the court docket.
Yep. And you see, like that postal power shit, like it's I, I like I don't want to get another ticket. I want to deal with it, but I can't wait to use it. You know what I mean?
I get that. It'd be a lot less scary if I wasn't facing what I'm facing.
But I'm gonna be sending out a lot of executive letters. You know, I'm gonna be sending one. I'm gonna be sending back my license. I'm gonna send back my license. I'm gonna send back my tag, and I'm gonna send along an executive letter along with it. And I'll be stamping those documents. So I'm still going to be needing to do this.
I
Okay,
have a
well, I'll
question. That driver's license when you return it. Did you
What's
guys know
that?
the driver's license? Did you know that you were an employee of the DMV, and when you
yeah.
return the driver's license, you can collect on that money too?
Mm,
I don't know about collecting on that money. That's a good one to hear.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on getting that information too.
yeah,
I'll
send it
try.
to me, man.
Definitely. I have no
Because
problems.
sorry,
Everything
go
about.
ahead. Yeah, man. Because I don't remember where I was reading this, but it said that literally anything that has a number attached to it is an account, right? So that CUSIP number that's on your driver's license is attached to some bond somewhere that dividends are being distributed to whoever the stakeholders are, but they're not going to you. Mm.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is just find that CUSIP and find out how much money that CUSIP number generated. Y'all
Well,
heard of a new minute report?
yeah, finding those CUSIP numbers is the one thing has been most people are very secretive about. And honestly, I don't know if I'd be wanting to give them CUSIP numbers, especially like your social, because they're worth over $1 million. And that's when that shit starts to get scary. I
Did you
mean, I would really start doing and living the rest of this for a little while, of um trying to get out of paying your water bills and your electric bill, all that kind of stuff. I would start doing that first and get used to the process and start doing it and making sure you're in the right place on all accounts before you go after them CUSIPs that, like I said, they're worth millions of dollars. Because that's when you start getting suits showing up at your house going, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean, but it's yeah, yeah. I will agree with you.
if you
At the
create an
same time,
account, sorry, go ahead, brother.
no, you go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say if you guys created an account with Fidelity Investments,
yeah,
okay, because all of your CUSIP bonds, they're on there.
They're hard to find though.
No, no, you check the three on the left hand side, the three lines. You select news and quotes, and then you select, I think it's called financing and bonds. And then when you get into there, they're in there.
Hmm.
I found over 600 of mine, and it looks like they used my number over 200. Copy. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I just messed something up. So he actually found them because that's been the biggest issue we've run into is no one.
Well, the thing is, when I put something in there and something pops up, it I don't see anything to clearly indicate that that has anything to do with me. Like
Yeah.
once I can figure how to decipher all of that stuff on the screen, I'll start making those claims, but I'm not sure. Hold on, I gotta use the restroom. Right back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right. He had to step out for a quick second. Mm.
My reverse camera is no good, but let me know if you can see the documents. Okay.
Okay.
Is it too far away? I need to get closer.
Yeah, I can't really see it. I mean, if you email it to him, if he can share it with me, just so I can look at it.
Yeah, that's not. Well, actually, he has it already.
I mean, well, I guess the bigger question is just letting him know that it's okay to share it with me. Cause I'm curious.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
I mean, all of it depends on who you get and if they read it and what they do about it.
That's true. I also created an invoice.
How far into this were you
Into what?
into your case? Because see, I already took a plea and I go back on the 31st for sentencing and I'm trying to fight this ahead of that.
Well, I got arrested for a warrant. They put a
Mm-hmm.
warrant for my arrest because they didn't catch me like on the scene or anything like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
got a warrant for my arrest. They actually arrested me on my job, so I lost my job over this shit too. Um, so what I did was, I was told I was reading I was watching Carl Miller. You never seen Carl Miller?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got that 5 hour video.
Yep.
If you ever get a chance, that 5 hour video, he breaks it all down for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he also says that you can give them a bill for whatever damages. He says now don't get carried away and add extra stuff because then they can actually get you for that if they ask you to prove anything. Um, so what I actually did was I did like the loss of my work hours, the money I had to bail out of jail, any Uber rides I had to take to do anything for the court case, the copies, and the gas. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I try not to do anything outside of anything extra. Trying to be slick. But anything that had to do with this case, I created an invoice. Now, my invoice isn't the best. It's a plain invoice. I didn't have any too much time. Let's just say I made it like the night of. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I printed it out the morning of inside the courtroom, as well as the documents that I brought into the court. So I tried to file it that morning, before court, and they basically told me the court clerks was like, "Oh no, since it's the day of, they said just give it to them directly, and they didn't even want to file it at the court clerks. You know what I mean? So I said that's not a problem. I'll bring it upstairs, and then that's what I did. I gave it to them in there, and then they ended up telling me that they was going to dismiss it. But I'm still curious to know about the next date. If I don't get it in writing, like you mentioned, then I'm definitely going to show up.
Yeah. I don't know what they're liable to do with my situation. I mean, I feel like to an extent they're counting on the fact that I'm not going to actually stand up for myself in court.
It will test you.
Yeah. And I mean, if I file this document, this abatement, there's no turning back. Like I'm going to get it to have to stand on my square.
In your
Here,
situation, is state versus you?
Yeah, the state versus me.
Okay, yeah, because that's also our Sixth Amendment right.
Yeah. That's what my plea and abatement that I'm filing is in accordance to the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution for the United States of America. You know. Um and that's the thing is another person that I spoke to before I met Nigel was he said at this point, especially within a court defender I have, I didn't hire an attorney, I just used a court defender. He said either way though, he said you have to get rid of your attorney because they're not going to hear you. They're only going to hear him. And then the other thing he said at this point, because I have the attorney, the only thing that I can file for myself that can be heard is a plea and abatement because it's done outside the bar. So, and that reminds me, I'm going to send you back a new copy of my plea and abatement because I just added stuff to it and I'm not sure if I like where this paragraph is at.
Which means I might have to fire my public defender or put notice that he's not allowed to sign for me.
Yeah.
it depends because in your situation, they
You know
they
what?
have they have to dismiss it because all disputes have been settled. So there's no controversy. They must dismiss it. And in doing so, when giving him that document, you're showing him that you know that. So that's like, okay, this guy knows what's going on. There's no way we're going to be able to proceed. So let's just go ahead and dismiss it. Just take money out the coffer and even the books, because we just won't get a bonus off of this case. You know what I mean? However they do it behind the scenes.
I definitely want to try to put my invoice in to see if I can, even if I get rejected, I don't care. But I still want to see if I can do it for the time that I lost. You know what I mean? Like for work, the damages that this caused.
Yeah, and to me it's like the only way you can do that is by putting them on proper notice that you will charge them for your time. You will charge them for this. You will charge them for that. And unless you've told them that and you can get that on the record, they're not going to be like, oh, what is this? Whatever. But the thing is, you can do it through the quote unquote administrative process by way of affidavits and all that stuff. So you can do it. You can do it, especially now that you got your case dismissed. But to me, it's like in your case, legitimate charges were brought against you. However, you showed that the dispute was settled, so they can't move forward. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't know. You could probably still charge them because, hey, the state did step into a civil matter, but the plaintiff kind of involved them. You know what I mean? So maybe you should be charging the plaintiff. But the dispute's done now. So
True. And I do have evidence that I've been going after the plaintiff for months to resolve the issue, and they've been avoiding me with all the emails.
right.
Have you sent the intent to sue? Did you put them on notice that?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to put them on notice because I didn't do my trust yet. I didn't notarize it or file it yet. So I'm not even 100% sure that I can even do that yet. Like, get my money or put the schedule fee on.
I mean, yeah, you can be because
Good.
the simple fact that it was no due process, and if you got arrested and they put a warrant out for you, you just proved that the warrant was unlawful, and that's your violations right there.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about your situation, Joe, but his situation is a little. Say what?
No, it's fine. I don't mind.
Right, because you had the U-Haul truck, right?
Correct.
And he had it for too long, so U-Haul reported it stolen, right? But he was trying to reach out to them to tell them that, look, man, I'm not stealing the truck. I'm gonna bring it back at X time, but they weren't trying to hear that.
I mean,
Right?
as long as he has proof that he tried to contact them, that's all that matters.
Not only did he have proof of that, he also has proof that he settled the debt with U-Haul, returned the truck, returned their property. All disputes were settled at that point. Right? So now they brought the claim against him for stealing. I mean, it would be a counterclaim that I didn't steal it, but the fact of the matter is you did keep the truck, right? But you settled that dispute. Now, in order to come back and try to hit him with a claim or invoice him for that time, I mean, there's kind of wrong on both sides there,
Mm-hmm.
And the fair and equitable thing to do would just be like, okay, this one's done. We're both going to walk away, right? And then you go after these people that are trying to do this rent stuff with you. These are people you can legitimately come after. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty screwed up.
But like to me, if that happened to me, I kept the truck too long and they reported it stolen. But I'm like, hey guys, look, man, I'm gonna keep it a little bit longer, right? But I'll pay you for the time that I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
So you still pay for that time, right?
Correct.
Right, yeah. So you just have to.
Because when they returned the truck, like when they got the truck back, they were supposed to tell me the same day they got the truck. That way I can get my belongings and then pay them whatever I had to pay them. They decided not to tell me, and they have a 3-day window for me to pick up my stuff. Otherwise, they get rid of it. Now, I did
Right.
have good stuff in there, right? I got a notice from them 4 days after the fact that they got the truck. And then when I spoke to them, they said that they threw it out, but yet they sent me emails for it. And I proved to them through the emails that they didn't send me shit. They gave me the emails the day after they threw my stuff out. So they never told me anything about my personal belongings. So I owed over $4,000 through talking to them over the phone. I got them to settle out at $2,000 without showing them any proof or any information of anything I even had in the truck. He only had some couple of little photos that he had, and he tried to claim that, oh, there wasn't much shit. I was like, well, it was inside the bag. You know what I mean?
Right.
But either way, so, I got him to settle down, and I got an email and everything else. I think I showed it to you. If not, I can always send you that too from them, saying that we settled down upon the payment. So I paid them, got a receipt and everything. But am I still able to sue them?
For getting rid of your
I
property,
mean,
yeah.
yeah,
getting
and
rid
the fact that if you still got arrested and they got their property back, you know what I'm saying? That's still grounds for suing because you lost. You know what I'm saying? You lost a lot. You lost time. You say you lost your job.
My
So
Yeah,
job, yeah,
yeah,
Right.
you can still.
Lost your property, they threw your property away.
correct.
Right. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
So in that case, yeah. Wait, so
Do I
you
have
were arrested?
Yeah, so listen, it's crazy, man. So I'm at work, right? I do maintenance and repairs at a property management, complex. Um, I saw some tow truck driver. He was trying to, quickly repo somebody's vehicle out of the property, and in the process of doing that, the guy was moving so fast that he backed up into me when I was driving my golf cart. He didn't even see me; he just fucking ran into me, and I was parked. So I went to talk to this guy. Now he's trying to run off the property. So I'm calling the cops saying, yo, I got a hit and run over here. This fucking guy hit me with his tow truck, and I'm in my golf cart trying to block him from leaving the property now. Cops get there. They saw the warrant for my arrest and they fucking locked me up.
all right. So you can get them because uh, they still had a warrant in hand. They have to have it in hand. They can't just
yeah.
say it's a warrant for your arrest. So yeah, you can still sue them for pretty much false arrest.
I got locked up and then they told me I had a warrant and then took me over to a different court.
Oh,
I spent
that's crazy.
there, was kidnapped and spent the night there before I was brought before a magistrate when I should have been brought before that magistrate before they locked me up. So they kidnapped
Right.
me up.
And over
Right.
here in Orange County, they had me in the intake room for, I think it was 14 hours sitting in one fucking chair where everybody that I was talking to, some of them were there for 3-4 days in the same fucking chair. The place was so overcrowded, there was no fucking rooms for anybody. So I literally thought I was gonna spend, a couple nights in this fucking chair, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, you got a room upstairs." So I luckily got a bed that night. But yeah, that was fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, that's still false arrest because the warrant wasn't served, and then you didn't see the judge. You can't be arrested without seeing the judge. Well, you can't go to jail without seeing the judge.
Do I need to hire a lawyer to do that, or can I write that up
Nah,
myself?
you can do that all yourself. I did everything myself.
I would,
Everything.
after everything I know, I will never hire a lawyer for any
Right.
that
Yeah,
shit
no, I never.
because then you're just putting your fate in someone else's hands that should not be done.
All right. And especially since you're, not considered a minor anymore, you want to handle everything yourself.
Yeah.
Would it be better for me to even complete my UCC and get that done first, or does it even matter? I can just get it
No,
started.
it don't matter. I haven't done a UCC, and I got all my cases thrown out. I even got a case from 2016 brought back to court just by putting them on notice. So it's all about the way you carry yourself, and just the terms you use, just taking your time and doing the paperwork, and knowing what you put in that paperwork. So once you speak it on the record, they know that you're not here to fuck around, and that's all it is. Yeah, I have done UCC. I haven't done name decree. I haven't authenticated birth certificate. I didn't do none of that. I just, I read the rules of intent to sue. I even read the rules on the standard form 95, and they tell you everything you need to know. It's just, all about breaking down those words and words that, that but it feels out of place. You want to look them up in the law library or in, the Black's Law Dictionary to get the legal definition of them. And once you know the legal definition, then, it's all set in stone. You just have to put the paperwork together. But, me and Mr. Diff, we got a bunch of templates on all types of stuff. So, you don't have to do much. You just
So
have to.
what I'm
Do you
working
guys?
on now, go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say what I'm working on now is I'm cataloging all these templates and organizing them in such a way that they are applicable to certain situations. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just fishing through all these documents and templates, trying to find the right one, it's all packaged already. You know what I mean? So if you need to do this, plead abatement, bill of particulars, judicial notice, try to get the bonds. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to catalog all of that. I'm sorry, what you was gonna say?
Um, did you two ever plan on doing your, like creating your trust for the UC and all that, or that's not something you even care about doing?
No, I'm still debating on my exact route. I just want to get them out of my hair first, because Indiana, they put a warrant out for me, and I just
Do you
left
guys
and
have
moved to
for that?
Texas. What'd you say?
Like, do you have information on that or for that?
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of information. That's why
I
he
don't, I
said you
don't,
got to organize.
I don't have all information, but I do have the templates and stuff that I was gonna say I could send you and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
Yeah,
like
I'm
the one I
still
was.
looking into it. Yeah, I definitely
No, go
want it, but I just it's a different. I'm taking different routes. I want to, be fully knowledgeable on everything before I start moving. But like I said, I don't own nothing, so other than my name,
Right.
I never. What you want?
send you over.
I swear all of this is such a process. There's no other way to do it but by like being here like this with everybody.
Yeah,
Mm.
no, it's the best thing to do. Brainstorm and bounce around ideas, because it's always you're missing that one little puzzle piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the first thing I do is I sent them a intent to sue super early, so that kind of stops them in their tracks until you get your ducks in order, and don't go for no $2,200 or nothing. You want to set it high but reasonable, so that way, because
Well,
it was a false arrest, just
my loss
because.
of as of right. Well, my bill as of right now is 4,050, but that's about to go up because my next court date, I can't go to work or even try to get my job back until this is completely out of court. So
Right.
I gotta calculate this all the way from that court date, and then do the math on that, what I'm gonna miss work, add that to this, and then I gotta add my tools and my electronics that I had in the vehicle.
Right. That's the same thing with me, because I did subcontracting. So
Yeah,
in fact, when they took my Jeep, I had everything in there. I can pretty much build a house. I had
yeah,
saws
that's
and
right.
drills and all types of stuff. So when you go put that, you kind of just put in a bracket. I just
I'm
started out at 200,000, and then once they don't respond to that intent to, I doubled it and sent it right back, and that got my case dismissed. Because by the time I started court, they were already talking about the dismissal. I didn't even have to. I didn't have to talk to the prosecutor. Not like they talked to me before, but that was my last case. I had 6 in total with 12 charges. So it's all about how you handle things. And if you handle things from a business perspective, um, they're moved differently. If you're talking about constitutional violations, they're a little hesitant. If you're just simply, oh, I wasn't using my driver's license at the time, they can they'll give you pushback because they assume that you don't know what you're talking about. So
Mhm.
probably the best step is just, aim high,
Mhm.
and keep it, you know, don't let them, don't let them tell you different. I was told that what I'm practicing is frowned upon. And now, as I'm trying to get that transcript, all of a sudden I need to go see a judge, and it wasn't a court of record. They bring up a bunch of bullshit. So you just stick to what you know. But I think you got a case because the simple fact that they didn't have the warrant in hand. They can say you have a warrant, but if they don't prove it's valid, and it's
When you say
it's
it's
false.
valid, right? Like it's valid according to their rules, right? And they're sticking within their jurisdiction, right? But so you have to pull it out of their jurisdiction. It has to be per the due process backed by the Constitution. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they always try to say, "Oh, it's a valid license. I mean, it's a valid warrant and da 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 da." But they're talking about from their rules,
Right. Because the statutes and codes don't apply
right?
only if you let it. If you agree into their
Right.
rules, then like if you agree to go with them, like I always tell like, hey, I don't want to go with you. So if you kidnap me, that's up to you. But as long as you put it on record and it's on camera, you all good. But you
I
you
did
have
tell
to
them,
speak up.
yeah.
Yeah.
When they tried to arrest me, I did tell them that I was already working this out with the place and that there shouldn't even be a warrant. But they
Right.
said that there was a warrant and that there was nothing he could do about it, and he was gonna have to take me anywhere.
Well, no, it's a lot he can do about it. If he has an oath to uphold justice, and he's not, he didn't prove to you that the warrant is valid. He didn't even have it in hand. He's going off of hearsay.
Correct. No one showed
That's
me a
something
warrant.
they seen on a computer screen, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
When
And
was
I
their
didn't.
last updated? You know, you gotta
Right,
ask
right.
questions. You gotta ask questions. But I'm not following you because I've been there too. Because when they got me, my son was only like 2 months old. I was sleep deprived, so I'm like, all right. I was just focused on getting the car to my lady. I spent my time calling her. And once the car got released to her, I was like, all right, I'm just take this ride. I met a few people in there and Holden that you know uh, became clients later on. So I just took that as a sign
Right.
and just kept it moving. Because now they were trying to give me 5 years for a suspended license and some other bullshit. So I ended up coming to Texas. I beat it all over Zoom. I mean, everybody was there. The DA, everybody but me, and
Hmm.
they just missed it 3 minutes. That was the shortest court case I've had in my life.
Another one that you
But
sent me.
yeah, that's the one I sent you. The one I'm trying to
Yeah.
get now, oh man, they giving me so much pushback from all these old tickets. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Kelly, I was telling you about me because he hit him with so much stuff from every different angle, but it was honed, right? It wasn't just like
Mm.
you just frivolously filing stuff. So by the time he got to the hearing, they didn't dismiss it before the hearing. When he got to the hearing, you can hear them like conferring with each other, and then they just go, "Oh, B, your Mr. B, your case has been dismissed," and you're like, and B was like, "I'm sorry, what?" You
Yeah,
made him repeat it.
yeah. Because
Yes,
it's a
sir.
rule
Your
of
your
three.
case, right? And then you was like, all charges, right? Yes, sir. All charges with prejudice. Yes, sir. With prejudice. Thank you. And then you went into the rule of three. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't expect you to know their secret rules. So when you do, I always expect you to bring them up
Mm-hmm.
always, because you wanna get them, in the trap like they trapped you. You gotta trap them back. Like when we were in Discovery and Omnibus and all them pre-trial meetings, I was only talking about Discovery. I was like, oh, well, no, I was talking about jurisdiction. That's the only thing I was bringing up because that's all I wanted them to believe. That's all I was coming for. When we got the trial, I wasn't gonna bring up discovery. I mean, jurisdiction at all. I'm bringing up, was it the warrant valid? What's the cause of action? Intent, Was it a fair trial? I'm bringing up everything, but because they already know they're meeting about you, day in and day out. They probably went to lunch and talked it over. They're all friends, so you gotta catch them on a bad foot. You gotta catch them, with a plan of your own, and that's why I sent the intent to sue early. So, because I knew they weren't gonna respond to it, but uh, I also knew that they couldn't answer none of my questions. They can answer if I'm bringing up the bid bonds, performance bonds. They can ask, what's the cause and the nature of this case. So
I'm
even if
almost
any,
for you
even
to
if you
say,
got a public defender, I'm sorry, but you should send a public defender a list or a letter of instructions, and you can get them dismissed like that.
what I'm about to is send him a letter of instruction, and he Nigel and I were discussing about me sending him the misnomer one. I'm still not sure how I feel about that one, but I'm just curious for you to take a look at if Nigel could email it to you. Or I mean, I could email it to you if you mind,
Oh
corresponding.
yeah,
See what you
no,
have
for
to say,
sure.
my plea in abatement. Like, read it over real quick and see if there's anything you think, might be applicable to add or withdraw from it or whatnot, because I'm about to send it with a letter of instruction to my attorney. I'm actually running out of time here. If I do it today, I don't know. I can get it to him by Monday. I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush doing anything, but
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Don't rush.
like
Never rush.
Nigel earlier, my biggest thing is I don't want to sit here and come off and have them just come at me like, oh, you're just a sovereign citizen. But he's right. In my letter of instruction, I should say that I do not wish to do as that by any means.
Yeah, I told her to add that in there, and I'm gonna add it into because I have a letter of instruction template. I'm gonna add it to the template. Look, any use of the word sovereign citizen is grounds for immediate release.
So that was
Your
pretty.
lawyer, and you said that your lawyer was calling you a sovereign citizen.
Yeah, he did the minute I sent him my bill of particulars, which is why I never sent my bill of particulars in. But at that point, I didn't know that I could do that on an e-file because I
Well,
can
they're gonna try to scare you. That's what it is. They want to throw you off the game. You can be 100% right, but they're gonna make you seem crazy.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I said, I don't,
Exactly.
well,
that's a good thing.
I don't know what
That's
sovereign citizen is, or what about this says or indicates that I am one. I said, all I'm asking you is about the nature and the cause. Oh, well, you've already been informed. No, I haven't.
Hmm.
And that was
they
like the end.
informed you, right? Exactly.
And then he still proceeded to represent me after that. But then he tried to tell me the other day when I took the plea, he said, this is your only option. I said, I have options. I said, I'm just trying not to enforce them. I said, and I know about the fraud that's being done here. And I've had enough of it. I said, and I told him, I said, I'm not going back to jail, not even for a fucking 5 minutes. I refuse to go back. I
Damn
said,
right.
so what I'm going to have to do, I said, but I'll take the plea for today. I said, but I'll figure it out before I get back.
Okay, so this is the thing. You have unalienable rights. So even if you sign the plea deal, you're not really able to sign over your rights because you're under duress. So if you put that in words, how much that they were threatening your life and sending you back to jail, and you're under duress because you don't want to be away from your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's just enough.
Yeah.
So if you
So,
put the DA and everybody on notice,
so this
then
is
see
what
what they say.
my plea. I said that any and all various papers, documents, adhesions, contracts, or agreements I may have signed with any government agency or entity or any others that might be construed to indicate a conclusion contrary to my herein assertions were made, signed by me on the basis of mistake due to lack of full disclosure, creating a lack of full knowledge, a deliberate action of fraud, non-disclosure, concealment of material fact, and misrepresentation. Such action thereby creates a stressful situation of duress and intimidation, vitiating all documents by such action of fraud in accordance with MCL, it's Michigan's code, MCL 750.218. I even put Michigan's code for fraud in there and what they did. And I said, I hereby revoke, disavow, and renounce my signature on any and all documents until you can, prove this. And then I went into, I did ask about the jurisdiction, the venue, and like I told Nigel earlier, I added in here also, I said, has there been or will there be any bonds and or securities bearing my name? If so, can you produce those bonds plus an assessment of any and all original charging instruments with all original wet ink blue signatures and a certified audit trail with the 1040, 1040B, and the 1099 OID filed with the IRS for them? I feel like that covered that.
Yeah, I don't see you missing anything. All about yeah, now it's all about just notifying everybody that you're aware of your rights and you're continuing to stand on them. Because when you don't respond to that initial affidavit, they're just taking that word for it. And since you had a public defender, he's not gonna protect
Right.
you.
Anything you did with knowledge is not binding. So
Right.
So
you must enter in all contracts knowingly.
So if I can get rid of him and tell him I'm done with him, show up to this next court date with this in hand, and basically just I hate the word challenge, but question these facts, and they can't give me answers, then I can just move the court to dismiss.
Right. So all you're doing is question. Don't ever go in there trying to argue anything. But
No.
you can get him to do his job first. See if by you forcing him to do his job, and if he refuses, then that's grounds for dismissing him with honor.
Yeah, he's not going to do this. I know he won't, because like I said, I hit him with that bill of particulars a few months ago, and he was like, I'm not filing that. He said, you can file that, but don't put my name on it. That's what he told me.
Yeah, but you didn't give him any instructions in writing to properly give them instructions. You have to do everything in writing and get it notarized. And then you're gonna put that on. You're gonna file it with the clerk, because by him being on notice and he's not doing it, now you have proof that he's not doing his job.
Well, yeah, that's
technically a refusal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a refusal.
Yeah,
you presented him with a document that forms a new contract, and he's refusing to do so. It's grounds that's dishonor. It's grounds for a release and withdrawal from the case.
Yeah, I figure, like Nigel, and I discussed that I could send him the letter of instruction plus my plea and abatement, and if he says that he refuses to do so, then I'll file the letter of instruction and the plea of abatement into the court docket.
Right.
Showing that I did ask so, and he refused to, so I released him of his duties.
Correct.
Now, what were your charges originally?
They're charging me with a DUI third offense.
All right.
So,
no victim, no damage to property.
Hey, that's my whole thing. No victim. You can just you've also come at the judge too, and just get them disqualified for not following procedure. Like I like to attack everybody. Since everybody's against me, I'm against everybody. So that's why I challenge. I'm saying.
And they're doing this knowingly.
Right, they're knowingly doing it. And if they're being ignorant to the law,
full intent.
Well, that's why part of my notes for myself, for like my court spiel, if you will, is the lack of service of process, because no paperwork was served to me by certified mail. The lack of due process, because I haven't had the right to face my accuser. There's no sworn affidavit. There's clearly no injured party. beyond that, just the fact that there's, been no speedy trial. This has been going on for almost a year now.
Mm.
Dragging
that's
out those court case. I mean, dragging out those court fees,
Yeah, exactly. To gain more
letting those
money.
bonds mature. You ever notice that? Like, there's always another court date on the schedule. There's a schedule for the court dates, and these are probably the milestones in which a bond is matured through the process.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be. They have to, they trying to get paid more
Mm-hmm.
than once.
Are you kidding me?
Once.
I'm on felony probation from Upper Michigan, and they're taking advantage of the court process I'm in right now, and they will not release me from my probation until this court case is.
Okay.
So therefore, if I violate any of the terms of my bond or anything happens, I mess up, whatever, they get to double dip on it and get me for violation of my probation.
That's a setup. They're trying to stop you. They already see you you're trying to be an adult, pretty much. They don't like that. So they're working in cahoots with each other to make sure that whatever you do, you end up in jail. And I got experience in Michigan. I used to live in Lansing, Michigan, and they all try to work together. Even though they say they're not, they can tell you, "Oh, we don't deal with them," but they do. So you can get them just by notifying everybody of their wrongs.
Yeah, as soon as I get put in this, Mackinac County is going to come after me for a probation violation. When I got the ticket before I got put on probation with them. So it's not a probation violation, but they're trying to say it is because they're going to go off of when I got sentenced for this being after I was on probation with them. And that's not fair either. Like, that's screwed up to do to me. Like, they have just put me in this tangled web of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I had basically what I had is a case that was 2 years old that my lawyer won, but was never, unbeknownst to me, was never dismissed with prejudice, which I didn't know. It just goes from active to inactive. So the case was just sitting. 2 years later, they go, "Oh, you got another charge? Okay, we're going to come at you now and we're going to charge you." And so they turned around and took me to court again and basically said, "Well, you have no choice. You either, do the sobriety court program or you go to jail."
That sounds like court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
yours.
for the last 2 years, with them with a handle on me, waiting for this other case to go through. And they refuse to release me until this other case happens. The thing is that this case happened, after the fact. You can't do that to me. Or I mean, before the fact. I got this case in August, and then you came back at me with a 2-year-old case and put me on probation in November. And then you're going to turn around and come at me and tell me I violated probation. And I didn't, because I was never on probation with you at that point. I'd never been sentenced.
Right.
And that's what kind of led me and Kyle down the bunny trail of figuring into all of this information.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure.
You just prove it's unconstitutional, and you just stick with that until you get a plan. Because like I hit them with my plan A, B, and C at the same time. Because you gotta realize they're all trying to get you or get money off of you. So the best thing to do is, since you're after money, so am I now. You send them all an intent to sue of constitutional violations, and then you see how they respond.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they're gonna realize, okay, we can't fuck with her anymore. They're gonna try to, won't you just deal with they're trying to, they're gonna try to lessen the sentence, maybe knock you jail time or probation, and you just have to keep fighting back. Like, no, I want y'all to leave me the fuck alone.
Exactly.
And that's pretty much I got to the point where I was just like, I'm not coming to court. Like, I'm still like that. Well, you have to. Okay, well, you got to come get me. If you want to drive to Texas, be my guest. Because by the time you get here, I'm going to be somewhere else. I got family in Arizona, and that's what I did. I went to Arizona for a while, and I served them with more paperwork. And by the time the court came, they were just like, "All right, Mr. Barton, we'll leave you alone." And now I'm going back for what about my damages? She hung up on me. They ended the Zoom call because they know I'm entitled to damages. But I didn't quit. I sent in oh man, I sent in so much paperwork. I used to do like 2 forms a week, and then after court, I think I was doing forms every other day, and to the point where the clerk, the supervisor, and the manager know, pretty much know my voice when I call. They're already like, "Hey, Mr. Martin, how can I help you with today?" And you can hear the stress in their voice. I'm like, well, just know we're going to be on the phone for at least 45 minutes because until I get help, until I get the answers I want. And, sometimes you got to take that route, but, if you stick to it, you're going to get the solutions and the answers you want. You just have to articulate it, using sometimes you got to use their terms. Of I use federal rules, and then I use the Bible. I'm not a religious person, but the Bible does come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just pretty much sticking to your guns and not letting up, because they're going to want you to let it. That's why court is cold. Sometimes they don't have clocks in there because they want to throw you off your game. You're sitting in that cold, hard seat for hours. And it's just by
Yeah.
the time you get up, you're just, oh, damn, what was I going to say? Because they know.
It's a
They
tactic.
know. Mm-hmm. They had Mr. Difficult sitting there for what, 2 days in a row.
Yep.
I feel like if I'm sitting in there for hours, I'm just gonna have all my notebooks and my paperwork with me, and it just gives me more time to study what I'm gonna say to you.
Mm-hmm.
Get myself together.
Mm-hmm. I was just sitting
Did
there.
you send her the documents? Was it 62 questions to shut down court?
Yep, I got that one.
Yeah,
I've never
send it to her. Oh man,
It's on the public drive. It's literally on the public drive.
keep
It's
saying that.
amazing.
I have to look through everything. I'm sorry.
And that's
Yeah,
a
like
lot of. It's a
what
lot.
the easiest way to find what you're looking for is just hit the search bar and just type in your keywords, and there'll be a document for it. It might be more than one document.
Stay in court.
Huh?
What'd you say the document is?
So if you go
It's
to, it's in my link tree. If you go to my TikTok account and then you look at right underneath my profile picture, you'll see the link tree. And the link tree will pop up with a couple of links, and then one of them is the public drive.
Okay.
So then you can just go in there and type in, say, like in your situation, letter of a petition, a letter of administration. It pops right up. You download it to your local machine, edit it, and then print it out. But everybody, this is Yolanda. Yolanda, this is everybody.
yeah.
Hi, Ilana.
Hi. Hi, how you doing?
All right, so she's going through family court, and cause like a custody battle, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, and Joe's kind of going through the same thing now. So my thing is when they're trying to go after your kids, when you do that, that's starting to get into the state property. So if you control the estate and let them know that I kind of know what's going on here, guys, and you're moving your actions are unwarranted, okay? Because they're pretty much trespassing on your estate. Hold on, somebody just texted. I'm trying to see if I can get Lee in.
Hey, it's a CPS document in that drive too. And then you also question them on the separation of powers because they're making up their own rules and then enforcing them.
Exactly.
So until you pretty much call out their bullshit, they're going to keep doing it. But when you call it out, always get everything notarized. You can get it stamped by the clerk and then send it upstate, get it stamped by the Secretary of State, and then you put it back on the docket.
Mm. I just did the I just dropped off the subrogation. I did subrogation.
Okay. In which manner?
The equity.
So what is it? What was it like a what was it like? I'm sorry. What was the heading, right? Because it's like
I was on your you had somebody on your page talking about it. I went through the parts, the 1, 2, 3. Back in 2023, that's how far back I went.
Mhm.
And he broke it down how you need to fill it out and stuff.
Oh, you talking about on my page?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I think it was like September 2023.
Okay, I got you. So
So I went there and I did everything that, he said to do,
okay.
letting them know that, that stop fucking with me. Just pretty much stop fucking with me.
Exactly.
I'm taking over. So keep it fucking moving. And then it got, like he was talking about, the claim and shit. That's all in there. And I read that shit like 2 times and I was like, yo, this is like the shit that I need to do. So I brought that in, got it filed in. Ian Poole was on your page and he said you got to bring it to probate court. But I went to probate and probate was like, yeah, we don't take those. You need to file it in your court paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they didn't take it. So I ended up going to the court and got it filed in my case.
Okay.
So just to let them two know. So I had a child and my child's father is trying to take her from me. It was kind of like a one night stand, thank you, ma'am, baby. And he's trying to take the baby from me. I feel like he paid the courts off. So the court gave him custody and said that the baby should pretty much live with him in Buckhead. And she got other siblings at my house. So what she did was she closed the case. She's trying to now reopen the case because she was trying to get me served a couple weeks ago from the sheriff, trying to reopen the case because I'm not following the court rules and giving him the child. So he hasn't been able to get my child because I believe in my guts, in my heart, with every fiber in my body that if I give him my child, he's going to take my child and run. He flies for free forever because he's grandfathered into flying for free. His mother worked for the airline. But long story short, the lady is trying to reopen the case after she already told me it's closed and permanent. So that's what I'm kind of going through right now.
Yeah, I'll probably try to get the judge disqualified.
That's I listen,
yeah.
I did 2 disqualifications. The first one she denied. The second one she ignored. So then I was like, okay, bitch, I'm gonna bring this in to see what you say now
No, that's
about
what
this.
you do. You send a judicial qualification complaint to the
I did
Superior
the
Court
commission.
or Supreme Court of your state.
Okay, I didn't do the Supreme
Yeah.
Court. What I did was I
Yeah.
did the Judicial Qualifications Commission, and then I did the what is it, risk management.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my next step. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pretty much like build a paper trail so that I could do a federal lawsuit against her.
Oh, for sure. You need to check her because she's right doing this to other people.
Yo, that lady told me in my face, she was like, "Oh, Miss Ortiz, I'm gonna tell you what's in the best interest for your child
Are you
for the
ready,
next
Kels?
15 years."
Said, are you ready?
Huh? Am I ready?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh.
realize I wasn't
No,
muted.
it's okay.
I
Oh,
was talking to my daughter. I am so sorry.
oh, okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. This lady only been a judge for like 8 years. And the crazy thing is it says her name and then in back of her name it say ESQ. Bitch, you a judge or you a lawyer? Which one?
Yeah, I'll do a complaint. And she's acting outside of her oath because how's she gonna tell you the best option for your child?
Let me tell you, them people made me pay $4,500 for a lawyer, or they told me they're gonna take all my other kids from me in court. They it was 2 months. I couldn't pay my mortgage because I had to pay them. What else? That lady called me a sovereign citizen. And then the crazy thing is, when I went to go get a transcript, how about the transcript lady was like, "Oh, we don't have no transcript." So y'all ain't got no record of nothing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you should be able to create an affidavit and submit it into your case and basically outline everything, including the fact that this is not a court of record, and therefore it is in violation of your right to due process of law. Because how can you not have a record that can be reviewed if errors are made?
Yes, exactly.
I know this lady trying to make an example out of me, but one thing I know is, like, I'm not. I used to always get whoopings when I was little, so that just goes to show you that I'm not gonna fucking back down. I'm not. When my mother seen that they sent me the paper saying that the father got custody, she was like, "I don't know what you need to do, but you better do something because he's not getting my granddaughter." So I'm like, shit, I'm really like, I'm a female, but I'm like the leader when it comes to my mom, because my mom is one of those ignorant older women. So she pretty much follow what I do, and she be relying on me. So I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna do whatever I can do in my power and pray to God that everything works out for me. Because my thing is, I'm not trying to keep him from his child, but I want to deal in the private. I don't want to deal in the public.
Right.
Wait, so,
Because it is
wait,
a private matter.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so what you can do is you can file an affidavit of competency, letting the court know that you are of sound mind and able to handle your own affairs. And if they want to come in as a third party, just charge them a fee of $10 million.
Okay.
Because if someone's gonna go to court and you don't have a contract, a child is not awarded a state until they bring that presumption forward. I mean, you got to challenge that too.
On the
If you don't-
record.
Right. First of all, you have to make sure anytime you walk up in anywhere, that record is going. You need to know who is making the record. You need to see them making the record. If it's a recording of some sort, you need to see that it's available. And before you begin anything, and then everything you say, you start with on and for the record. Right? And the next thing you want to start with is, before you say anything, you invoke, not reserve, you're invoking your constitutional rights. Here and henceforth, meaning all the way into the future. So they can't ever say, "Oh, well, yes, you have this right, but you never exercised it." You want to shoot that shit all the way to the stars, so they don't ever have a chance to mess with your rights. And then in a lot of family cases, the judge is practicing from the bench because there's no jury, there's no third party, there's no one really bringing a claim except for the other party, and the judge cannot answer for a party. So if the judge is making a decision and it's based on the questions the judge is asking you, you're always in control. So you got to ask the judge, how did they make the decision? How did they come to the conclusion that they did? It cannot be from the judge's opinion. It has to be from the facts that was presented and the evidence.
Right, yo, if I show you, it's so funny because if I show you where this lady said they did not find proof that I'm a drug addict, I'm alcoholic. They did not find proof that I am like what do you call it, like an unfit mother. They didn't find no proof of that, right? So what she did was she gave dad 75% custody and me 25% custody, with the baby living with dad. I gave them, at first when I was, forced to go to court and shit, when I didn't know anything, I gave them all this proof that this man is alcoholic. I was going above and beyond to prove that he was an unfit person to have the baby, and they didn't care about none of that. So like I said before, I've I really honestly believe that he paid them off, because I never heard of 75-25 in my life. I never heard of that.
So you were probably making statements instead of asking questions.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Yes, 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 yes. Because I didn't know nothing. And the only time I was able to speak in court was one time. And then after that one time, that was it. We went to court like 4 times. The fourth time is when she made her ruling against me.
Mhm.
Well, one of the things that you could do is you could file an affidavit, an affidavit of mistake.
Mhm.
It's not very common, but you can let the court know, or basically you're letting the judge know in this case, because the other party that's suing you, most likely they haven't said much in court either. The judge is just going after whatever the hell they said.
Mhm.
Because you're the defendant, right?
Yes.
Right. So you just file an affidavit of mistake and let the court know that the way you conducted yourself previously was without knowledge of the proper procedure and the rules, and therefore you are demanding that it be stricken from the record, and only what you say henceforth should be considered going forward, right?
Mhm.
How long ago was the case?
February 26th, she ruled on the case. So after she ruled on the case, like maybe 2 weeks later, I did the first disqualification. She sent it back and denied it. Then I did a second disqualification. She ignored that one.
What was the disqualification based on?
Fraud. So I have, damn, I wish I had them with me, but they at home. So all of her signatures on the paperwork that she sent me are all different signatures. So there, she sent me 4 papers with 4 different signatures, and they all have different judicial judge, honorable, in the circuit, they all different. They are different. So I don't know who,
Right.
I don't know whose signatures those are.
Right. So the only thing you can, because the statute of limitations on filing an appeal is probably 30 days.
Yeah, yep.
I'm not sure. So what you're going to have to do is either sue the court individually or the judge individually, but you can't, basically you can't reopen the case unless there is new evidence or there is some kind of something big that would have turned the course of the case around. So the disqualification after the thing was made, that should have been to a higher court.
Okay.
Because you can't ask a court to verify its jurisdiction. They're always going to deny that to you.
Okay.
So you go over their head.
So what she did was she's trying to get me back in court next week to give her a good reason why I didn't go to court last time. So this lady was calling me a sovereign citizen and stuff, right? So I wanted to, I did a motion for it. She told me to do a motion for a continuance. So I did a motion for continuance. I got the letter the day before court denying me the continuance. So she wants me to give her a good reason why I didn't show up in court. So she's trying to get me back to court. But my thing is, she already said the court was final, right? But she tried to serve me with some papers to go back to court.
Right. When was that?
Like 2 weeks ago.
So the case is, did you check your case file to see if the case is actually closed?
I don't even know how to check it.
Okay, you need to call the court.
Mm-hmm.
They should have a main number. You ask for the county clerk and you give them your case file number and ask them what's the current status of the case. Or you can go online, wherever you're at, go online for your county and just look up that court. It usually is free to see those. types of information, just the titles. You won't see the full case detail.
Easy. You're in Georgia, so I look up my case all the
Yeah.
time.
In 1 second.
What website? What website? I never looked up my case. What's the website?
But what county are you in?
Cobb.
You're in Cobb. Okay, I'm in DeKalb. But I'll look it up. I'll find it for Cobb County.
Okay. I'll send you the case number if you need it.
Because another thing I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start sending all of these courthouses notices. I'm gonna start putting out my fee schedule, power of attorney, all of that stuff filed with all the separate counties, so they're all on notice.
Oh yeah, I just did mine today. Finally.
Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of things you do while you're in the court process, but my thing is, the court process is all based off of the administration of your estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you
Mhm.
if you stop them at the piece that they're moving around that monopoly board, I mean, that's the best way to stop it.
Right. They I just can't. You know what's so crazy? Like when I used to live in Connecticut, and I had CPS called on me. Well, in Connecticut we call it DCF. I had DCF called on me because my son went to school and told them that I whipped him. And what they did was they took my rights from me. So so how can I explain this? So he lived with my mom. When he moved with my mom, they took like my parental rights without me knowing. So they didn't take me to court or nothing, but they stopped talking to me and was talking to my mom. Then within like 6 months, my son was murdered. So now I'm suing the state of Connecticut for negligence and for them like taking my rights and without me knowing and shit like that. So I just say that to say like they are, when it comes to children, they are messy. And DCF is the number one, it's human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Human trafficking.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy. It's scary. It's crazy.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I refuse to let another child go in the system. I'm not gonna do it. So I'm gonna fight. Like whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna do it.
You're damn right.
Cause I don't even want to think about that shit. It's scary. And then, huh?
And I don't. The thing is, in theory, because I'm still embarking on this journey, but in theory, like all they're doing is administrating their trespassing upon your estate, and your children are your wards because you're the guardian over them until they have of sound mind to manage their own affairs, right?
Right.
So, but they're his kids too now. So, but the rights to it is your property. The rights to be the guardian over your child is your right, and that right is your property. You know what I'm saying?
So, and if he chooses to fight, that's on him. But the crazy thing is, I can see right through him. Like he's not fighting for her; he's fighting against me. He don't want to feel like he's losing against me. So he's fighting for all the wrong reasons, and I'm just fighting because I don't want the court to get in my business. Like I don't want to deal with the court.
Right. Then to me, it's like once all the affairs are in order and they continue to trespass against your estate, now that's a warranted claim to bring against them.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've put you on notice. I am the executrix over the estate, and you are trespassing on the state property.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I am like, I was gonna ask some people something.
But what's great about this
ready.
is that what's great about this is we just came up with probably like 10 ways that you can not attack them, but attack the matter that's at hand. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And it's like, to me, you want to start attacking them. I feel like if you have a warranted claim, then you should move forward with it. And all of this stuff, right, that's happening to you now, it's nothing but you're just amassing evidence and building your case against them. And now, say you got a fee schedule on record, you've got your power of attorney, you've got everything set up to where you can bring a warranted claim backed by all your paperwork. There's very little that they can do, especially go federal with them. I'm like, come on.
I'm sorry, I was listening. No, but because the stuff that you sent me the other day, right? I was reading it and I'm like, yo, there is so many ways to attack them. Like I'm trying to get them from every angle, from every fucking angle, because I just want them to know, like, yo, like y'all can't be doing this. I just feel like if you let them smoke your boot, they gonna smoke your fucking boot.
They are.
And I'm not about to let these people smoke my boot.
So like that's the thing, right? And then like another thing is, I'll say, right, is like if you have that lawyer, right, it's you can't start talking about your rights when you have a lawyer, because you're waiving a bunch of rights when you agree to get the lawyer. You know what I mean? All those rights go out the door.
Right.
And you can read it in the paperwork that they give you. You agree to waive certain rights. I'm like, wait a minute. What rights am I waiving in order to establish a contract with you? Now,
and you know what? They made me get a lawyer for the baby, a guardian ad litem for the baby.
Yeah. They're gonna tell you all their procedures, and that's which is just gonna rope you into their jurisdiction.
You know? Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, you can read it on the forms that they make you sign. You agree to waive these rights. Now, if she's
I fired the lawyer in November, and they still kept her on my case.
They still what?
I said I fired the lawyer. I fired the guardian ad litem in November. I told her I no longer need your services. They still sending me bills from her. They kept her on the case.
Yep, they'll do that to you. Just because then the lawyer still has a say over you.
That's wild. Yeah, I need whatever. I need all my rights back. That shit is crazy.
The one thing I learned is that you have to go on the record and make sure that, it is known that you recuse that lawyer, that lawyer no longer works for you. You're representing yourself. Because I had to, when I recused one of my lawyers on one of my cases, we actually had to go up there on the stand and say that, he was recusing himself of lack of us being able to come to an agreement, or we had differing opinions on things. Agree with it.
And you know the crazy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, I was gonna say the crazy part is the judge picked that lawyer for us.
Oh, of course he did. So he could utilize it.
Yep. And my thing is, like, Connecticut, I know if you pay for a lawyer, you pick your own lawyer. I don't know about out here.
If it's a private attorney, you say, look, I no longer need your services. He's going to withdraw. But these appointed lawyers by the judge, those are different. Like, because I had an attorney and I just said, hey, man, I'm going to take the case from here on. He's like, are you sure you know what you're doing? This is a dangerous situation now. And I said, yeah, I think I'll be all right. And he just withdrew himself from the case. But it was a private attorney. But these appointed attorneys, because, you're the ward of the state at this point, they're just going to start making decisions for you until you rebut that claim. And like Alphonse Faziola is a good one, right? And he can like really gas you up on the verbiage to use, right? Like, I'm sorry, under what authority are you giving me orders to do with my children? Under what authority? You're rebutting the presumption. And they move on unrebutted claims or unrebutted, presumptions.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard of the 12 presumptions?
Yeah.
So you gotta rebut that, because now instead of going in there and saying these things, well, I have the right to do this and I have the right to do that. That should be directed to them. What gives you the right to do this? Under what
Mhm.
authority do you have that you're moving to take my children away from me? And you're gonna
Mm.
start seeing them dancing once you ask them that question. Like, the
Yeah.
judge sat there on the bench and told me that she was appointed by the state to represent the state and all. I was like, she said the same thing about the lawyer, right? All right, Judge. So what's your office address? 56 McDonough Drive. What's the prosecution's address? What's that? 56 McDonough Drive?
Mm.
You guys are all in the same building,
Mhm.
operating under presumed authority that they just made up.
Mm.
And that's why, like, the petition for a letter of administration while you're setting up your affairs, you
Mhm.
rebut all presumptions with that. Excuse me. It's my estate. I'm the beneficial owner of that property. Okay. What rights do you have to administrate it? You have none. Stop
Mhm.
trespassing on my estate at once. And then get you a box, because, like, the reason I bought the address, they all got the same address. Where's your address? Where are you starting from? What's on your letterhead?
Mhm.
Anything you send in there, you should have a letterhead, and that's your office to office, only official business that you want to conduct with these people.
Mm. Yeah.
Now, you could go in there and do all the affidavits and all that. That's a good way you can get it dismissed that way. But say, for instance, you got official documents to send them, you just send them that privately, put that stamp on it, just so other people in a higher authority are aware of what you're doing. Like, once you get the postmaster involved, that's then, like, you've got witnesses. If you got to call the postmaster into the courtroom,
Mm.
come on,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, wow. And the thing is about the affidavits is, like, they run from the motherfuckers. That's why they're so powerful. They run from
Yep.
the affidavits. They don't want no parts of that affidavit.
So I need
But
to. So yeah, the next step is gonna be me going federal on the ass, right? Because I
I
think
think the next step, I'm going to stand on this one. The next step
Mhm.
is to let them know who you are. The next
Mhm.
step is to let them know who you are, rebut all presumptions. You can do that
The
by way of
administration, the letter
affidavit
of
that
administration.
they're going to run from, right?
Mhm.
You get them to run from it, and then you hit them with the default. And then, like, keep piling evidence up against them. Because when you go federal,
Mhm.
you could hit them with the mollywop.
Mm.
But then, like, but then, like, once your affairs are in order, they don't have the warrant to even come against you. They can no longer trespass on your property.
Right, but you also got to remember, if you have a claim against you, there's a maximum law about that too. And they won't tell you none of this, unfortunately. Whenever they're doing stuff, they just go by presumption, right? So
Right.
if you have an action or a current court case going on, you can't change things in the middle of it. Like, if you're trying to do status stuff,
Mhm.
or you're trying to make a claim in the middle of it, it's not going to
Mhm.
work. They just going to
Right.
ignore it. So the only way to reset all of that is either to file an appeal, to do a counterclaim, or to do an affidavit of mistake and retract everything that you did, because you have the power to do that. Just let them know that that was a mistake. And they can't
You
deny
put them
you
on
that.
notice.
Right. Send them a notice or an affidavit or a declaration, however way you want. So the declarations don't need to be notarized. That's another thing.
Okay, and that's putting them on notice of who I am.
I would say do the affidavit of mistake or a declaration of mistake or however
It could be
you wanna
that,
put that,
and in fact,
and then you let them know who you are.
Okay.
yes, that's clean hands right there.
Exactly.
That is clean hands in good faith.
Mm. Mm.
Look,
Okay.
guys. Hey, let's halt the process. Let's look at my affidavit, guys. I think we mistakes. I've made mistakes. I'll admit to it. However, boom, then you hit them with what it should have been. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that because you're taking all the proper routes in order to act in good faith. And it's like if you stay on that route, they have to do the same thing. They have to. But if you go in there with you're like,
And you could even state that.
right.
You can start it off by saying, I am an honorable woman, and I intend to continually act in good faith, and therefore I'm submitting this affidavit to correct what appears to be a mistake in my actions and my knowledge, and I've come to correct that. And that could literally be your affidavit.
Right. Further after and say not.
Right. Try not to say not. Try not to say anything negative. And also, it from what you said earlier, it sounds like that case is not closed yet. If the judge is telling you to come back for some whatever it is, that case hasn't been closed.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna wait for Mr. Difficult to look it up because I don't know how to look it up. Yeah, I don't know what that baby talking about. My case.
Oh, to find the case? Well,
Yeah,
like you said, you could call them. You could call them too.
Yeah.
Like you could call them on the phone and they'll bring it right up. They'll bring it right
And
up.
just ask them if the case open.
And you can ask them. Ask them like, hey, what's the web? What's that?
No, and just ask them if the case was open.
Yeah. What's the status of the case? And if it's open, then now you can hit them with discovery.
So what is discovery?
Discovery is where you want to find all inculpatory evidence against you and all exculpatory evidence that can exonerate you. And you're really more focused on the exculpatory evidence because they only talk about what you can do to be. You notice they only talk about what's going to put you in jail or what criminal thing is. They never talk about what could set you free. So you have to do that because that's your case.
Got it.
And that's why I love discovery, and everyone is entitled to discovery, and I don't care what point in time in the case it is, because when you are presented with new information that can exonerate you, and per the Brady rule, they cannot withhold that from you. So find out if it's open. If it's open, send in a discovery motion. What's the status of it? Is there a public defender assigned to the case? You got to. That's what I do.
So public defenders could be. Not public. Oh wait, is it? Well, it's civil, so I don't know if public defenders could be on the case. Or what about prosecutors? Are prosecutors on this case too, even if it's civil?
Well,
that's a good question.
Depends. No, it sounds like you have a party coming against you, it doesn't sound like it's a criminal. I don't think civil
Right.
cases will have a prosecutor unless the state is the other party that's coming against you.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Mm,
So you wouldn't have a
Who
public
is
defender in that case. Because the public defenders are only to defend against crimes. This is not, nowhere near
criminal,
that.
right.
Right.
mm, okay,
Well, wait,
yeah.
what was that case about? I know.
It was pretty much
Huh?
he applied so the paperwork that he did he wanted sole custody.
Okay.
So she didn't give him sole custody, but she gave him 75% custody and me 25%. He gets the baby every holidays, 4 days a week. He gets the baby for the summer. I only get her Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Mother's Day. But I get her 3 days a week, and he have her 4 days a week, and he get her through the summer and all of that.
That doesn't seem equitable, does it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Do you know what I don't understand, Joe? This is the thing that bothers me. How old is your baby?
She's 1.
She's 1. Okay. And in that year of her life, how much time has she ever spent with him?
When I first had her, we stayed over his house for 2 weeks. He never had her by himself. He's never had her without me. So probably so she's 17 months. So probably like 16 and a half months.
See, that's the thing that baffles me. They didn't find you. I mean, even, okay, this is not in accordance to all the stuff that we're studying, but I'm just saying, I'm so confused as to how he's never been really a major player part of her life. And they find that you don't do drugs, you're not an alcoholic, all these things, and then still award him 75% custody when he never has spent any time with her, like she's lived sole provider. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, that in itself needs to be addressed.
I think honestly, I think he knows somebody at the court, because from the beginning, when he applied for sole custody, when I went to court to rebuttal him, this guy that was in there gave me a paper, right? The paper that he gave me was the wrong paper, but I wasn't really on studying. So I didn't know for 4 months that he gave me the wrong paper. So by the time I got the right paper, it was pretty much a little bit too late. You know what I'm saying? So I still ended up putting the right paperwork in, but I think that he knows people in the court system because he's in the movie industry.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely, because my ex-husband, when we got divorced, took custody of my kids, and my daughter was 1.5. My son was 6 months old, and he had never been a part of either of their lives for the last year, which means like he only met my son like for the 3 days that he was in town when he was born. The rest of the time he was gone on military leave. And so he didn't live with us. He didn't help raise them, had nothing to do with it. And somehow the judge still did the same thing to me. He gave him full custody. And my ex-husband had full custody of them, and I had to fight for them back. And I mean, it was a battle. And I wish I would have known then what I know now. So I'm hoping that you can find a way to get through this, because that sucks.
Did you get the babies back? You got them, right?
I eventually, yeah, I did. At the end of our divorce, I mean, it took me 3 months to get them back, and that, that's not cool, especially when I got a 6-month-old kid who, still
Nursing.
needs. Yeah, he wasn't even 6 months. I think he was 3 months when he took him. So, I mean, he still needed me.
Right.
He It was 6 months by the time it was all finalized, and I got my kids back. I actually got my kids back in less than an hour after we got out of court. That was only because I did have a good lawyer who fought hard for me. But civil matters are a lot different than this equity crap we're going through. But
And you were married to him though, right?
we were married, yeah. We were
See,
going.
that's the difference. He was a one night stand. So for him to try to come take my daughter from me and I really don't know him, that's the part that's eating me up.
Is he even
That's
on
the part. He is on a birth certificate. And to be honest, it took me 2 weeks to get the birth certificate because I did not want to get a birth certificate. He picked me up one day. I'm thinking we going, hanging out. And we ended up at the vital statistic, the hospital. When we were arguing in the hospital, and they called security on us and everything. And I ended up signing it because I'm like, I didn't want no problem. But I did not want to sign for the birth certificate. But he is on a birth certificate.
That's hard because the things I've found in law about men's rights over the kid, they give them more power than they do us women. So that makes things hard. And pertaining to like the battle that you're in right now, because like I had to go through a whole process just to put all three of my kids in a trust to try to take back my power over them, and I had to get permission from their father because he's on the birth certificate.
I put my kids in a trust too. You got to get permission.
I guess you're supposed to, but that comes more from, I think, when it comes down to like rescinding the birth certificates and the social security numbers, gotta get to sign off on all that. I guess only the natural father can do so, but don't quote me on that. I would do your research because I'm still in a process of all that. I'm more focused on my court case right now, which has nothing to do with any of that. So I'm not here to give advice on that. Just it's something that I came across and, something to look into.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, all of this stuff is new to all of us. And God, even after years of research, it's still so much to learn.
I know. Oh my goodness. Yes, that is true. That is so true. I think, it's so crazy because he wants the baby so that he can give the baby to his mother because his grandmother died. But no, we're not going to start with my baby. Go ahead and have another baby and give that. We're not starting with my child.
That's funny you say. That's what my ex-husband wanted. He didn't want custody of him. His parents wanted him.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, his parents even said to my dad's face right in front of me that we neither one were fit to be parents and that they wanted him.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. His mother's in her 50s. So it's like it's like a battle. Like his mother raised a husband's son. So he does everything that it's like they feed off of each other's energy. But my thing is, me and him had a child, but to me, it's my child. I know that he is the father, but I don't really, that's my child. And my thing is, he thinks that all of his friends and family is supposed to be a part of somewhere in the middle of me and him sleeping together. Does that make sense? So, God, without saying too much, he thinks that this is everybody's baby, and it's not. It's my baby and your baby. That's it.
No, I get it.
It's
but
crazy.
There is a lot of info I have seen. I just haven't looked into because it's not where my stuff lies right now with the whole child custody though on TikTok. I mean, there's a lot of good information to be found. I wish I could give you something. I know it can be done. I know plenty of people do it. I would be getting on TikTok and finding anything you can.
Oh, I do. I follow Malibu Dallas. He's real good. And then I follow oh my God, this other lady. Let me see what her name is. It starts with a B. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm hoping I don't do that, but if my kid's father right now, if he ever comes at me, it's gonna be a pretty big war because he knows this stuff as well as I do. So I hope him and I never come to those terms.
Right. No. Her name is BBYRN.
Oh, B Bryn?
Davis.
Yeah.
Her. Yeah. She be saying some good shit too. But I'm a fight. Listen, I'm a fight. He got to come get this baby in blood. God got to sit next to me and tell me you could trust him. He's okay. Until then, I don't trust him with my child. I only let my mother babysit her. She don't even know English. My baby she speaks Spanish. How are you gonna have a conversation with her? But you know what I was thinking too?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. What I was thinking too, that project, did you hear about the project 2025?
I've heard something of it, but I don't know offhand.
Where they're trying to demonize the single mothers.
Huh.
Google it on TikTok. Put when you get a chance, Project 2025. It's crazy. But back in the days, the dads did have custody of the kids naturally. Like, so I guess it changed to where they give the women custody. Because in the state of Georgia, if you're not married, the dad automatically doesn't have rights.
That's correct. Also in the state of Florida.
In the state of Florida too?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this man is crazy. I'm like, I mean, I get it. He's trying to fight for his baby. I understand that. Like I said before, I don't want to keep the baby from him, but I just don't want the courts thinking that they could come in my business. You know what I'm saying? And I know that the paperwork is fraud. I know that what this lady is doing is not constitutional. So she trying to make an example out of me, but bitch, we gonna make an example out of each other because I'm gonna make an example out of her.
I hear that. I'm trying to do the same thing and get my kid. Well, I have my son with me, but she ran off with the daughter. I'm trying to get the evidence from the police video camera because she admitted to the police officer or to the sheriff that she poisoned my daughter with Percocets, and she did it more than one time. This was the first month that my daughter was born, and when I demanded them to give me my daughter, the officer went to get my daughter from her and said, "Oh, she's putting up a fight and that she's crying, so we're just gonna leave her with the daughter and separate you guys for tonight, and then you guys meet up in the morning and work this out." And it turns out that in the morning, because I called DCF, I called everybody right there on the spot, and basically nobody helped me, to be honest with you. Everybody helped her. This was before everything turned around to make it more 50-50 here in Florida. So this happened in 2021. So she basically lied to them. They helped her break into my home. They robbed my house and then helped her flee the state to another state. And then she opened up a case in another state. So now I'm fighting a temporary restraining order in another state. But I have videos of her. This is wild, ladies. Listen, I'll even email it to you. I really don't care at this point. You know, I'm past embarrassed over my shit. I just want to do whatever I can do to help my kids, you know? But I got videos of this lady. She set me up. She says, "I set you up. I set you up. That's why I set you up." She said this shit like 5 times in the video. Then we're going back and forth. Then she proceeds to punch herself in the face. Like literally, I got it, and she's like, whack, whack. And you hear the sound of her knuckles like hitting skull. You know what I'm saying? Like you can hear.
God.
And I'm saying to myself, what the fuck? Like, I'm just glad I got it on video.
I'm
You know?
No, that's what won my court case. You said, how did I get my kids back? I mean, I had a good attorney and he did discredit a lot of the people who came in to testify against me, which was maddening too. They were all my friends and he had been in Korea for the last year, so he wasn't around. And they all died. And I know him, his family has money. I know they paid them. But then after all that was done, the very last thing we did before we walked out of the courtroom was I played a voicemail where he literally was wasted on there. And so that proved that he was, you know, a drinker, whether he, you know, wanted to admit he was an alcoholic or not. But then on top of it, he just went off on me saying, "I'm going to take you for everything you have. You'll never see these kids again. Fuck you. You don't deserve anything." Just this whole voicemail. And he literally had my phone shut off because it was under his name before I even hit the steps of the courthouse out the door. He shut my phone off. I said, "Well, at least you did now and not earlier." Shame on you. I mean, I still, but I mean, evidence is evidence. If you can prove it, like, good for you, Joe. is I hope you know.
Girl, they not listening to me. They not listening to me. That's why I'm doing all of this, because it's like the battle of the paperwork. And I'm
Yeah.
an at-home mom, so I don't have nothing but time to get all my shit together and read and all of that. I can't let them take, because right now I'm not following court orders. She ordered that the baby be given to him on March 31st, on Easter. He came and get the baby, and I didn't let him. And he comes every Thursday with the cops. He didn't come yesterday, but he comes every Thursday with the Cobb County Police Department, and I don't give him my baby. I feel like he's gonna take her and fucking run and don't never come back. He asked me, can he bring her to Disneyland for okay. He asked me to bring her. Can he bring her to Disneyland? I thought Disneyland was in California. That motherfucker was in Japan at Disneyland.
Oh, Japan? I was gonna say, because there's one in Florida, there's one in, yeah, they're everywhere. There's multiple ones.
But I'm trying to figure out, if I would have let him take my baby, he would have been in Japan. That right there shows that you're a flight risk.
Oh yeah. Well, flight risk actually,
I'm scared he's gonna take my baby. I'm scared.
yeah,
I
no,
am scared, man.
yeah. Just don't ever get your kid a passport, and then they can't take them anywhere, because for him to get a passport for your baby, so this will give you some, make you feel good. For him to get a passport, it has to be signed off by both of you.
But this is my thing. He works for the movie industry, right? So I don't know because my thing is, if you knew you were going to Japan, how was you about to get my signature? Were you about to get somebody to forge it? Like, I don't understand. Or did you fly on a private jet to get over there? Like, I'm fucking baffled.
Yeah, that one's a hard one. I mean, because he would have to have somebody, because you both have to go in person. You have to both be the person. So he would have to first off get someone who looks like you, have an ID of you. Oh, his power went out. Mr. Difficult's power went out. Poor guy. Yeah, and have your ID and your birth certificate. He'd have to have a lot of information on you, because you got to present all of that at the I don't know what you guys call it, DMV, Social Security office, wherever you guys go to get, because every state's different, to get your passport. Because I refused to let my ex-husband get a passport for him, because I was afraid his parents were going to take him off to Poland.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
For you, that's a little bit different. I mean, if they're flying a private jet, I mean, don't you still have to show proof of who you are? I
don't know. I don't know how that works.
Even for a baby, I would think you still have to. I mean, does he have a copy of the birth certificate?
Yep. And he has Social Security. This motherfucker went and got 2 American Express credit cards in her name for his company. So it was, as she was an employee, like she was an employee. And so what I did was I opened a fraud case against him. I called American Express. American Express told me that they're not like other credit cards, to where I asked them, can they let me know if the cards were used, what day was open. They told me they can't give me that information. So I had to go get a police report and get a detective involved. So since I got the detective involved, they will only talk with the detective and not me.
Yep. I thought I would run into anyone in my life who had an ex-husband as bad or worse than mine.
Oh no, girl. When
But as I know you guys weren't married, I guess baby daddy, but whatever you want to call it.
Girl, that was a one-night stand turned into hell, man.
This is why my mother always says, be careful who you have sex with, because then this kind of shit can happen. I don't think they'll make a good or, father that don't have sex with them. And I'm like, I never understood that fully until my ex-husband. And then I was very careful about who I ever had any relations with after that point. So
yes, that's true too. And he's so wicked. If he was a good person, like I really wouldn't. But he's not a good person. He's just not a good person at all.
Well, to be an actor, that makes him no different. You said, what industry is he in?
His first movie was Space Jam. He was the son in Space Jam.
Okay, so he is an actor. Okay, so to be an actor, that makes no different than these people in the administrative courts. They're a bunch of actors too. And to be pretty heartless and, if you ask me, of a person. Because you can lie on the spot without feeling a bit of shame over it.
He
Not
comes to
right.
my house every Thursday and he records my house. He put my truck, my license plate number on there. He just says, you know, I live in poverty. I don't have nothing going for myself. Please, somebody help me save the children. Like, he just be doing all this extra shit. Like, he's so extra, it don't make no sense at all.
I'm really sorry. I have to get going though, because my kids are about to leave for the weekend with my dad.
So I guess, nice.
But I
guess
gave you,
we'll finish this conversation. Okay, I guess I'm gonna text you now from an 860 number.
okay, yeah, I gave you my phone number, and then for Joe, I put my email in there for both of you to contact me. And if I can come across any more, because I do all the time about child custody stuff, I'll let you know whatever I find, and we'll keep moving forward for you.
Okay.
All right, it's good to see you guys.
Okay, likewise. Bye-bye. Bye, Joey.
Bye, Joe.
Okay, bye-bye.